Shifts. So this generated the signal S. Therefore, that's going to be an output from this control into my counter, right? It just counts how many times that one was generated. What else comes out of this one? The add signal. So I count. What should the output of my counter be? What do I need out of the counter? What do I need to know from it? When to stop. So it's just a stop signal. Okay, and let me go to K for counter. Okay. Whether I'm done or not done, it's or I may have called it D. Okay. And this still needs the multiplier bit to determine whether I do this, then this, or I just do this. And we said it's sequential, so we haven't been drawing it, but you have a clock. It's a sequential system. And we said we're going to call the start signal N. So now this would be a complete control. There's a start signal, either a stop signal or something that indicates whether continuous shifting or not. The shift signal and the add signal. That's the control that goes to that previous diagram.
Wow.
So now let's just do the add shift control once, and I'm going to do the complete. Because I'm counting, all I need is those 3 states that I showed before. Let's call it, actually, let me just go back to the map. Let me go to the last one. How many inputs to my total control? Because I said I split the control into the add shift control and the counter. Right? How many total inputs do I have to my combined control?
4.
Or 5. Okay, don't guess. Yeah, yes, 3. What 3? Why clock? Clock never goes in your diagram, come on. M, N, and K. M, N, K. Yeah, the clock, but when have we ever put the clock signal into our state diagram? Huh?
That's make it interesting.
Okay, so M, N, K. And I'm going to produce add shift. Okay. So that's my nomenclature. Let me move this down. I'm in the waiting state. What is the M and K combination that makes me stay in here?
X0, X.
Yes. I don't care what the multiplier is as long as the start signal is not there. So there's several of those combinations, right? It could be 1, 0, 0, it could be 1, 0, 1, whatever. X0, X tells me stay there and do nothing. Don't add, don't shift, just wait for N to change. So once N changes, only 2 things can happen, right? So if N, which is in the middle, became 1, and let's say the multiplier is 0, N was 1. I just came out of my start state. Doesn't matter. Can K be anything other than 0? Let's put it that way. No. Okay, so it really doesn't matter what it says, because it can be done. It hasn't added or shifted a single time, so obviously it can be done. So we go to, let me call this one S1, because that's all right.
That's a 2.
And let me call that S2. Okay, the arrow goes in this direction. What's the output?
0, 1, 0, 1.
The multiply is 0, so don't add, yes, shift. So this is sort of the shift state. out of S2, if I get to S2 somehow, whether from S0 or maybe from somewhere else, will I ever look for the start signal again?
No.
Okay, so that one, the one in the middle, will always have an X. When do I remain in state 2?
And M is 0.
When do I remain in state 2? Remember, this is sort of the shift state.
M is 0.
Huh? When M is 0, but I have already started, so it doesn't really matter what this is. And will K matter?
No.
Okay. What's the output?
0, 1.
0, 1.
I'm in the shift state, which means shift. There's no shift, that's why I went there. Okay. When do I go out of S2 somewhere else?
When your multiplier is 1.
When,
M is
when
1.
M is 1, when else?
When K is 1.
When K is 1. So I'm going to draw that one first, because otherwise I'm going to forget it. When you counted 7 shift, you do one more shift and you're done. You go back to 0. All right. And the other answer you guys told me is when what?
M is 1.
When N is?
1.
No, M.
And
M is 1,
N is X.
XX, output being?
1, 0.
It can never be 1, 1, I told you already. You can never shift and add simultaneously, so either you add or you shift. So 1, 1 is not a possibility. It is actually
1, 0.
1, 0. Where do I go?
Yeah.
S1, which is going to be my, what's kind of called that state?
The add state.
The add state. So we're in the add state. Do I look at N?
No.
No.
You sure?
Wait.
Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, once you start.
Because if it's.
you already started, right?
Right.
You never look at it again, I already started. The only time you look at it
Trick
is
questions.
when you are in the, let me wait for end state. After that, doesn't matter until you finish, right? And when you finish, you're gonna be back here. So only here do you look for N, so does it matter?
No.
No.
No. N, let me draw it. Thanks. No, okay, that's the middle.
Mhm.
The multiplier can be
0, 1.
0 or 1, okay. I'm in the add state. If the multiplier is 0, what do I do?
Shift.
Shift.
The multiplier is 1, what do I do? Shift, so does it matter?
No.
No. Another X. Right? Because after you add, you always shift. Period. You don't even look at the multiplier. After you add, you must shift. All right, so I do XX and, careful.
Wow. Oh, you gotta shift before you can edit.
Yes, but either you shift and you go to the wait state, or you shift and keep shifting. So here it does matter. Right, so I have X, X, let's say that K is 1. Where do I go?
Shift and then go back to this.
That's
original
0.
state.
Zero.
I shift, what does I shift mean?
0, 1.
0, 1, and go where?
That's 0.
Okay, so it does matter. It's not an X. Now, if it's not a 1, it's a 0. Therefore, X at 0, where do I go?
Shift.
And the output is therefore,
0, 1.
all right, let's see if I have all the lines I need. I'm probably missing one. Yes, this one. We said if it's a 0, you simply shift. If it's a 1,
You add.
you add. And the add state is right here. So this would be 1. I'm out of here, so I do need to look at n, correct? And can't be done if I'm coming out of this. The output is 1. Okay, so everybody, everything symmetric? 2, 2, 2, 0, I think we're done. That's the state diagram. What comes after?
Table.
Which table?
The fat
State transition table, which version? The wide one, remember? First we do the wide version with all the S's. Okay, after we do that, what's the first thing you do?
Before or after.
redundancies.
The rules.
Oh, we're not there yet. Look for redundancies, look for repeated rows. Clearly it's not gonna happen, I only have 3 states. And we know they're different, this is the I'm waiting state, this is the shift state, and this is the add state. There's not gonna be any elimination on that fat table. What do I do next?
Pairs table.
Pairs table, just in case, but the procedure is in that order. You do the pairs table, everything's gonna be X'd out. Why? Because I need 3 states. I cannot do it with fewer. So everything's gonna be X'd out. What do we do after?
State assignment.
Now we do the state assignment. Present state, oh, how many inputs do I have? 3, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna do this, so present. Next. And then we have a bunch of outputs. All right. The next state depends on what?
The inputs.
It depends on the input. So I'm gonna have a bunch of columns, which are M, N, K, all possible combinations, okay? So there's really 8 of those combinations, from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1. However, because there's so many X's, I don't have to list them all, correct? Let's summarize that. So I'm gonna have a next state if it's 0, 0, 0, a next state if it's 0, 0, 1, a next state if it's 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, etc. All the way until 1, 1, 1, right? But most of those are gonna be exactly the same. That's why you do them with X's. Otherwise, I'm gonna have 8 lines out of this state. Everybody gets that? Right? This really represents a total of this. Plus that represents 8 lines. Because this one really represents 2. And this one represents 2, and this one also represents the other one. Okay. So you could list. If S0 and 0, 0, 0, where do I go? S0. Okay. Or I go to, or I go to S2. There's no other option, right? So that's why I say you don't need to list them all. And the outputs, if I remain S0, the output is
0, 0.
0, 0, otherwise the output is,
0, 1, 1.
okay, 0, 1, or
1, 0.
1, 0. Okay, so there's somewhere here there's gonna be some S1s also.